What if I told you that everything you know is just the beginning? Beyond the veil of the ordinary lies a realm of hidden knowledge, ancient wisdom, and untapped potential. A place where consciousness expands, reality bends, and the impossible becomes possible. You weren't meant to stay asleep. You were meant to awaken. Open your mind, remember who you truly are, and step with me beyond the frequency 369. All right, folks, welcome to Beyond the Frequency 369. I'm your host, Cesar Pagan. And folks, we're doing something special today as we do any other episode. I have a fellow subscriber and also a member of my Discord community, the 369 Collective. And she goes by Skylar. Now, she has asked that we do not use her real name and that we also blur out her face, but she will be using her real voice. Okay. I totally respect that. It doesn't matter how you really come in, as long as you're willing and you have that courage to be public, to talk, to have people hear what you have to say. That's the goal here. And that's what we're achieving here. So, Skylar, without any further ado, thank you for coming on the show. How are you?
I am doing wonderful, and I'm so happy to be here with you today. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell my guests all the time, you are gifting me and the audience your time to sit with us, to break bread, so to speak, and to just share gems, share knowledge, transmit frequencies to each other, to everybody listening. This is going to be a great episode. And folks, you will notice that it is going to be a shorter episode, but guess what? There's going to be lots of gems in it. Okay. So be excited. I'm excited. So let's get straight to it. Skylar, are you ready?
Definitely. Yes.
Cool.
Definitely.
So, Skylar, if you can tell the audience just a little bit something that you're able to divulge about yourself regarding your journey to your awakening, right? And then we're going to talk about why do you feel it's important for you to go public in some fashion and share what you know.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. So I'm glad that you brought that up, because that was something I wanted to talk about, because I feel it may be instrumental to how the awakening happened and maybe why it happened the way that it did. So probably about a year prior to the happenings, I was going through a really difficult time. I felt like I was having kind of an emotional breakdown, and I started seeing a therapist. But as well, I really dug into my faith. I was a devout Christian. I was on staff at a church, and I was doing all my Christian things and, really seeking out God. But then I was also doing therapy, and I started doing this brain detox where you unravel thoughts and feelings. And I really did some inner healing and inner work. And, fast forward, I don't know, 8, 10 months, somewhere in that range. We were in the COVID lockdown, and I decided, okay, my next brain detox is going to be about health, and I'm going to focus in on my health. And I had a best friend who had a report from her doctor that she was on the borderline of having lupus. So I found a doctor who was a plant-based doctor who had healed her stage 4 lupus with this hyper nutrition plan. So I told my friend, hey, let's do this plan. I'll do it with you, because I just thought I'll take my health to the next level, right? So basically, I presented her with this plan, and I started doing the plan to encourage her. And it was like tons of raw fruits and vegetables, tons of water. And then I just decided, well, we're going to do the whole thing, right? If we're going to do all of this, let's get our sunlight, and let's get exercise. Let's, do all the things. And then I added in binaural beats. that was like the icing on the cake. And I just feel like that was the perfect storm, so to speak, or the perfect ingredients
Yeah.
to what came next. So,
I love it.
um, yeah. So I'm doing these things. I wish that I had journaled. I don't have like an actual time frame of how long things took. I'm doing these things probably several weeks, maybe a month into this process. I start recognizing at night that muscle groups are buzzing and pulsing, and I write it off. I think to myself, I must have really worked out my muscles well today, because they're radiating, and then over time, it became like a heat wave of tingling up and down, head to toe, with this pulsing feeling. And I thought, man, I must really have learned how to relax my body. This is what's happening. I'm finally relaxing. And I just kept writing everything off. And then it got so intense. This is days, weeks into this process that I would have the head to toe waves of heat and tingling. And then I had this push coming out of my body that would expand and contract. And the best description I could say is it felt like a magnet, like pushing, and it was a pulse. And there would be some nights that I would feel like I was floating off the bed. I couldn't feel the bed anymore. I started experiencing hearing the sound of like white noise with the zipper, and I would feel the center of my body start lifting. I remember I freaked out. I was like, I'm leaving my body. I'm freaking out because I don't know about this stuff. It just started happening, And then I want to say weeks into that process of being buzzy and pulsy, I started experiencing it during the day. And then one night I woke up to the pulsing at the base of my spine. And I thought, well, this is going to be very relaxing. So I'm just going to surrender and just let it buzz and pulse, not freak out. It started moving up the center of my body, and every area it would enter, it would start to pulse out. I felt like I didn't have skin, like it was coming out of my body. It moved its way all the way up. When it got to my throat, I remember it was so intense. It felt like there was external pressure around my neck. And then it moved into my head. There was a high pitched sound coming out of my head. My earbuds started distorting. My body was convulsing to the rhythm of the distortion. And forgive me, this is the best description, but my brain felt like it was having an orgasm. And when that electricity started to die down, it was like aftershocks in the body. It's like my body was flooded with a euphoric feeling, and it felt deeply like love. And so I filtered everything through what I knew, through my faith. And I thought, I'm being hit by the power of God. I'm experiencing a supernatural miracle in my body. And so this went on for 8, maybe 10 months of buzzing and pulsing every night. And randomly, I would wake up to this energy moving up the center of my body to my head. And every time I wasn't afraid because I thought, this is God. This is God doing something in my body. But some months into this, other things started happening that caused me to question, okay, something else is happening here. I started experiencing extrasensory perception. I started knowing things that were going to happen during the day. I started hearing people's thoughts right before they spoke, word for word. I started pushing thoughts to people, and I didn't know how I was doing that. Like, I would think specifically about asking someone for a specific item, and then I wouldn't ask them, and they would show up with that item. And it was happening so often, Cesar, that I could not write it off. Between that and the feedback of knowing things very specific, here's an example. I was out with my mother in law, and I said to my mother in law, I need to be home by lunchtime because my husband's going to come through the door and surprise us for lunch today. And she's like, well, how do you know that? Did he tell you? And I said, no, I've been getting these knowings lately. And it feels a certain way, and it's coming from like my gut. And this is where this information is coming from. And I think I should use wisdom and I think I should follow it. We got home right at lunchtime. I'm doing my thing in the kitchen and he walks through the door. Surprise! I thought I'd come home and surprise you for lunch today. I kid you not. That's exactly what he said. So that stuff just kept happening time and time again. And I just couldn't write it off. Okay, but it gets even crazier. One time, this energy was moving up my body, and it sounded like the room was filled with people whispering, and they were in the back of the room just whispering. I couldn't make out anything they were saying. And as the energy got closer and closer to my head, the voices got louder and louder. When that energy was right about my neck, the people were all like right in my ear whispering, several people, and I can't make out anything they're saying, just, but I can tell it's multiple people.
Did it?
And when
I'm sorry. Did it sound like English, or was it just like another language?
you couldn't make out anything,
Anything.
it just sounded like gibberish.
Okay.
And they're whispering, lots of whispering happening. And when you're in that state, it's like your mind is awake, but your body's asleep, right? So it's like sleep paralysis. So even though I'm hearing this whispering, I'm feeling this incredible buzzing and pulsing, and it's so relaxing. And I know the feeling is going to be amazing. So again, I'm like, I'm not afraid, but all of these things don't compute with my faith. What's happening? Right. So one night, I was just normal buzzing and pulsing. Every night, my body pulsed, the whole body. I go to sleep and a man is whispering in my ear, wakes me up. I shoot up. I'm like, there's an intruder. Somebody's in my house. There's nobody there. I had to pull out my earbud and scratch the inside of my ear. It was like breath in my ear. But again, I couldn't make out anything the person was saying. It was breaking my little reality box and it was making me question everything. At the same time, I felt the closest I've ever felt to God in my life. I felt every day like I was floating on a cloud of love or wrapped in love, if I could say it that way. And anytime something negative would happen, like if I maybe got into a little altercation with my husband or a disagreement, instantly I would be like, this is not who I'm becoming. And I would take a moment and I would talk to God and I'd remember I'm so loved. And for the first time, I loved and accepted myself. And I reminded myself, every choice I've made has led me to where I'm at now. And God is not surprised with any choice I've made, right or wrong. It's brought me to where I'm at. So I love and accept myself. And I get to choose who I'm becoming. And the person I'm becoming is a person of love who shows and displays like my life is marked by God's love. And I could instantly let go of those emotions and make the adjustment on the inside and even verbally say whatever I needed to say to the other person, whether it was apologize, I shouldn't have responded that way, or, whatever I had to do, just like, I hear what you're saying and, I'll make the adjustment, whatever I had to say to like make it right. And I could easily let it go. It was the first time in my life I felt like I discovered the shortcut, right? This is how you transform whatever this is. It was the shortcut to it. I felt, man, like so close to God. Things in the Bible just became alive to me. I was like, this is how healing is happening. It's this bioelectricity. This is why the Bible says lay hands on people. We're transferring this bioelectricity. Just things started to become alive to me. I was getting these giant downloads. Like, as cliche as this sounds, we're all connected. For me, as a Christian, that was kind of counter to what I was taught, right? Because you kind of learn that you're separate from everyone else. that I felt like I deeply knew that we were all connected. And again, it was just breaking down all of my boxes. Like, now I have to figure out, what do I believe? How do I make this all make sense? Right. Um, One night when the energy started moving up my body, I was on my side. And as soon as I got to the top of my back, my shoulders started being pushed, like rapidly being pushed. And I used all of my strength to wake my body up out of that sleep paralysis and like shake it off, slightly freaked out because I'm thinking, my old dogma was like, did I let something in my house? Is there something in my room? What's pushing me? So I relax, I let it go, I pray. I'm like, I'm okay. I lay back down on my side. It starts moving up my body again. I relax, I surrender. When it gets to the top of my back, my shoulder starts moving again, but I'm more aware this time. It feels like somebody is plucking my muscle. I can feel the muscle pull back
Wow.
and push forward. And it's very rhythmic. It won't let up. It's like bam, bam, bam. I feel like I'm going to get pushed out of bed. This is how I felt both times. I use all of my strength again, wake up out of the sleep paralysis, shake it off. I go to lay back down and I realize it's inside me, it's not outside of me. And I have this knowing, I have a kink in my neck. It's like water in a hose. It's looking for a way out and it can't get to my head. So I roll on my back. It happens again. As soon as I just calm down, it's moving up my body. It gets past my back, through my neck to my head. And I have the experience again, but with less intensity because I realize I've lost intensity because it was trying to get out of my shoulder. Right? How crazy.
Yeah.
And then I have a couple of other several experiences during this time.
Yeah.
This is all just like a wild time for me. I was like a space cadet. Yeah, anyways, during one of these happenings, my mind's eye was awake and looking up. My eyes were closed, but I could see. And there was a humanoid shaped blue glowing being standing over me with its hands over my abdomen while the energy was moving. It had no face, it had no clothing, there was no identifiable markings. I couldn't really identify like shoulder, nose, nothing. The way I described it originally, I said it's like looking through an infrared camera and all you see is a silhouette with the color, except it was a shade of blue. And I kind of felt like the light was moving. It reminded me of a neon light, but the light was moving. And the best color I can describe it is like a Smurf blue. Maybe there were some other similar shades in that range moving. That was the best way that I could capture it, but it was only a few seconds.
Yeah.
Once that energy hit my head, everything was gone. And when I woke up that morning, I thought, did my brain try to make sense of what was happening to me and make this up?
Yeah.
So I sat on that for the longest time. But when everything else started happening and I was getting all of this feedback that something is changing in my brain and I'm knowing things and I'm having extrasensory, there's a push coming out of my hands. I feel like I can push things with my hands, with the energy coming out of my hands. It was so strong. When I prayed for people, my hands went nuts. Fire, heat, pushing,
Can I ask you a couple of questions?
Yeah.
Because
Mm-hmm.
I'm just curious though. The blue being with its hands over your abdomen. What do you think it was doing in that moment?
So putting it through the filters that I had, I thought, when I started to realize, okay, this might have been real, maybe it was praying for me or like a Reiki session. It was moving the energy. But that's again speculative. But that's the only thing that's anecdotal. I feel like that's the only thing that makes sense, right?
Yeah, yeah. Because I've heard about these blue beings and how they have, just like you described it, no specific feature, things like that, and they're always using their hands. Um what I've heard and what I understand is that there's these beings that they're like doctors or surgeons, and they're the ones that, how you say, manipulate, add things, take away things. Like if they're trying to heal you, they'll take something and they'll put something in. Um, they go in and they mess with you. They're like the ones. They're like the experts. And just to kind of throw some labels on it, they're the ones that go in when something needs to be changed in you. There's been healers, even associates that I know, that they have these blue beings that will, while my friends are healing, these blue beings are there in the room, not only assisting but teaching. Do it this way, do it that way. So when you started saying that around midway, I started imagining what I just told you just now, that maybe you had something was being done to you, and maybe at this point you still don't know what it is.
Right.
Wow, interesting.
Absolutely. It's absolutely possible.
Yeah,
I mean, every time I thought that I was experiencing some kind of supernatural healing, it's just what didn't, those other things didn't make sense with my little faith box
yeah,
because they weren't known to me.
mm,
None of this was known to me. Um, and, when I started doing my research, it seemed like my experience seems to match a spontaneous Kundalini rising,
yeah,
but it was completely, again, unknown to me. I was not trying to make something happen. It just released and started happening. I think my lifestyle change and I think my internal healing and the spiritual journey I was on built up my bioelectricity. And I think the excess bioelectricity is what released it.
mm,
I have a deep feeling that this is in all of us, that we have this innate power in all of us that should probably be moving. I feel like our bioelectricity probably just isn't high enough.
yeah.
That's a deep feeling that I have. I can't, I don't have any proof for that, right?
Mm. But
But
yeah,
after
I resonate with that. I resonate with
yeah.
what you say. I know you said that that's just your theory and your thought on it, but I'm 100% with it because I have my own thoughts on it too. So yeah, please keep
Mhm.
going. Yeah,
Well, and then just doing the research, right? I became so hungry to learn. It was like, I couldn't put my phone down. I was listening, I was reading, I was checking out books from the library, and I was getting side eye looks because the books were like subtle energy and, you know,
yeah,
all the things. But I stumbled upon Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he's teaching people how to do this. So I'm reaching out to all these people. Who can I talk to help me figure this out? And I started becoming so hungry to learn about quantum physics and quantum physics and the brain body connection. I went on all these rabbit trails. I had to contact somebody. Can I get EVPs in my Bluetooth earphones? Yes. Um, I started watching documentaries about the afterlife because I felt like, well, are there disembodied people around us all the time? That's what I started to feel like. I started praying for a man in a coma. I never went to visit him, but when I would pray, my body would vibrate and buzz. And I started talking to him.
mm,
And I didn't pray like that. It just was like an urge. I had to start talking to him. And eventually I saw myself in his hospital room, standing over him, touching his face. And I had to say, stay with your body. I'll help you. Stay with your body. I'll help you get well when you get out of the hospital. I'll help you do whatever, you need to do to bring more health to your body. And one day after I did this, I got this instant message back. It was like a knowing. He's done with his body. He's done fighting. So I get buzzy again and I start talking to him telepathically. I don't know anything about this stuff, mind you.
yeah,
It just was an urge and it came naturally like, I have to do this. And I told him, I hear what you're saying, that you're ready to move on. I won't pray for you anymore. I release you and I'll see you on the other side. And a few days later, he passed away. That week, I'm going to sleep and I feel a hand around my ankle, gently grab my ankle. I sit up. I'm looking for my daughter. I take off my eye mask. There's nobody there. I lay back down with my eye mask. Few minutes later, I feel cold air on my ankle and I realize the blanket's being lifted up. When I sit up to take my eye mask off, at the same time, I feel the pressure of the blanket coming back down, like the air pressure, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm calling out for my daughter. She's not there. I lay back down. I'm like, that's weird. I could have sworn I felt this. I lay back down and I feel cool air again. And I feel like there's a lifting happening. And I sit up again. The same thing happens. When I sit up, that blanket is coming down. Take off my eye mask. Now I'm calling out to my daughter. Nobody's answering me. I start calling out to my husband. He's breathing like that heavy breath when you are dead asleep. I lay back down and I kid you not, within a few seconds, the blanket is lifting again and I'm frozen in fear. I hear a scratching on the comforter. I feel cold air on both of my ankles and I decide I'm not going to sit up this time. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
I feel the blanket lift up so high that both of my feet, my ankles are exposed. And I know that the blanket is up like this. And I have a knowing, mind you, I have my eye mask on, so I'm not looking, I'm not moving, I'm paralyzed in fear. I have a knowing, this is my husband's foot. His foot drops down like dead weight and the bed kind of bounces, you know?
Okay.
His foot slides on top of my foot and it starts smacking my foot rhythmically, hard. I wait a few seconds. I'm waiting to see, is this just like a random thing? No, it kept on. And I moved my foot away. I'm yelling at my husband. He's still in his like sleep coma, breathing heavily. And I'm like, stop it. This isn't funny, blah, blah, blah. You're freaking me out. I lay back down and I'm like, what's going on? You know, because that dogma starts coming in. Did I let something in my house?
Right.
And then I suddenly have a knowing. It comes from that same place where all the other knowings were coming from. It's this man. He's trying to get my attention. He wants to talk to me. But I'm still wrapped up in the church and I'm thinking, I don't know really what this is. I can't see it. So I get buzzy because at that point I knew how to turn it on and I'm buzzing and pulsing and I could feel the push out of my body. And I start talking telepathically and I say, I'm sorry, I don't talk to dead people. You're going to have to find somebody else. Please leave me alone. Everything stopped after that. Never happened again.
Yeah.
I feel a bit guilty about it now because now that I've unraveled some of that fear, like, oh man, he maybe really needed my help. But at that time, I couldn't take that step at that time. You know, I was still in the church. I was still leading in the church and trying to figure out what the heck is happening to me. And I'm suddenly experiencing these anomalous things, you know, but I am very certain that he came to visit me because I had this energetic connection with him.
Yeah.
It was like an urgency. I prayed for him 2 or 3 times a day for at least a week.
How did you know
before
him?
He told me? He was an acquaintance of mine.
Mm-hmm.
He was my brother-in-law's best friend.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so we knew each other. We had seen each other. We had been to church together, but at that time we hadn't seen each other in years, and I didn't have such a close relationship where I can just go show up. But I felt I was going to pray for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, I'm Cesar Pagan, author of Kaizar's Chronicles, The Anunnaki, and Us. I didn't write this book just to entertain. I wrote it to spark curiosity, to challenge what we've been told about our origins, and to bring ancient knowledge into the mainstream through the lens of an unforgettable story. It's written as a fantasy, but the roots, they run deep. into ancient texts and forgotten truths. This book follows Kaizar, an Anunnaki being who guides readers through a hidden story of humanity. It's perfect for young minds who crave adventure and adults who are ready to question what they think they know. I believe storytelling should set you free, not just take you somewhere, but help you see differently. So, if this resonates with you, I challenge you. Read it and explore even further. Kaizar's Chronicles is available now on Amazon, $8.99 for the ebook and $13.99 for the paperback. Are you ready to challenge your reality? Let the journey begin. Skylar, let me ask you this, because first of all, you understand, well, you probably understand now your power. So the fact that you took charge and you said, hey, look, I get it, but nope. As soon as you say no, it's done, right?
Agreed.
Right? They
Agreed.
can't force themselves onto you. So I'm glad that you're fully aware of
Agreed.
that.
Yes.
You I After just you adding that experience as well, I really think that you were upgraded.
I would agree with you because I still have things happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's one more
Please.
really important thing that I feel like I need to share.
Mhm.
This was New Year's Eve, 2020. It was taking out the trash. This was past, I don't know, 20 minutes past the ball drop, maybe. And I'm rolling my trash can out to the street, and I feel an urge to talk to them in the sky. Because at that point, I started unraveling what's this blue being. I also had this download that consciousness and UFOs were related, but I didn't know that was already out there. I just had this download. So I started doing research about this, right? So I had this urge. I'm gonna talk to them. So I get buzzy. I'm outside, and I'm just commenting what a great view they have of the fireworks, and not to be afraid of the fireworks. Like, it's a celebration. It's exciting. And I didn't sit there expecting anything. I wasn't trying to summon anything. I turn towards my house, and I'm facing the lake opposite my house. And there is this basketball sized reddish orange sphere, just huge glowing light in the sky. The outer edges were expanding and contracting as it zoomed across the sky. Not a zip so fast that I couldn't follow it, but way faster than a plane, than a helicopter, than a drone. It went behind a cloud and was gone. I couldn't follow it. It was the largest light I've ever seen in the sky before. No blinking lights. Like, I keep going over it and over it. No blinking lights. It had a linear trajectory. It didn't like shoot up and come down. There was no smoke. There was no explosion. There was no sound. And, at first I was really hesitant to say, I just saw a UAP. I didn't come in immediately saying that. I thought, okay, I really need to work through all the things and try to make sure it wasn't something prosaic. But I had never seen anything that bright or that color. It was like more red on the outside and then reddish orange on the inside. And it was just solid light. And then those outer edges, perfectly spherical from my perspective, at least. So that happened.
Yeah.
All in this short period of time. I mentioned to you as well, I became obsessed with trees during this time frame. I touched a tree one day. I could feel the electricity. It hurt. Mind you, I became sensitive to electronics. Holding cell phones and laptops hurt during this time frame. So when I put my hand on the tree and I realized there's electricity coming out of it, I became so attracted to the trees, and I started hugging them like a real person. When you hug them and you relax, you start to merge with their frequency. And there would be times that I'd be hugging this tree, and it felt like my entire body was being rocked by the ocean. It was just this sweet, rhythmic, low tide kind of rocking, but you're merging with their frequency. And it looks like such a space cadet. Like, we would pass trees and I'd be like, oh, look at that big tree. I have to touch that tree.
Yeah.
I have to hug it. I have to touch it. And this is going to sound really wild, but I started greeting the trees. I would walk past them and I would have to talk to them. And it wasn't that was like expecting some kind of conversation back and forth, but I innately knew they are aware of me. When I come around, they're aware and they're sentient. But I had no knowledge that there were studies proving that trees and plants had sentient, or were being labeled sentient and had intelligent
Yeah.
communication. I had absolutely no idea when this stuff was like dropping on the inside of me. I thought I must really be going crazy at this point. I'm talking to things. But then I told you I was hungry for information. So I went down every rabbit hole. I learned about the Baxter effect and the secret life of trees. I ate it up. The wood wide web. I started learning everything. And then also I was looking into the ESP stuff. So guess what? I found out about remote viewing, psychometry, telekinesis, all of that stuff. My reality broke and I just became so expansive. I was like, we live in this magical world and we don't even realize it. And we don't know anything. Every time I thought I knew something, I realized, nope, you're wrong. We don't know anything. And there's still so much to learn. And it's so exciting
Yeah.
that there's so much to learn, but we need to be open to the fact that just because science says it's so or religion says it's so doesn't mean there isn't more to it or more to learn, or maybe there's a nuanced difference to what we're being taught. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I just became expansive. And so fast forward to today, I still randomly get extrasensory information. I still randomly hear people's thoughts. And I asked the Lord, what am I supposed to be doing with this, God? And he said, work on missing persons, do something with healing. And I'm supposed to be communicating for people who don't have the ability to communicate with their body.
Mm.
I don't know how those last two will unfold, but currently I'm I use remote viewing. I still need to grow in remote viewing. So I don't want to sound like I'm proficient in it, but I have enough under my belt that I can use it for missing persons cases. And I'm a part of some volunteer groups.
Mm.
So I have a lot of fun with it.
I love all of it.
Between that and doing other, remote
Yeah.
viewing is fun. Just any project for remote viewing is fun. But I wanted to say, for those of you listening, my main reason for coming out is because I know there's somebody out there like me experiencing something spontaneous, something anomalous. You don't understand what's happening to you. And I feel like there's an extra layer of, oh no, what's happening to me when you're in the church. There's this double layer of, I want to say shame, but it's not shame. It's like
Judgment.
judgment. Yes. Thank you. And I wanted to share my story. It's okay if this is happening to you. You're not crazy. There are lots of other people having spontaneous experiences. And I believe there are people in the church, like myself, having these experiences. I don't fully understand how it all meshes together. I'm still trying to walk that out. But I do believe God has a hand in it. But I'm also open to this idea that we're expansive. We're basically biological radio stations sending and receiving signals all the time. And there's so much that we can be doing, and expanding, right? So don't be afraid to expand. The other thing is, I really wanted the story about the blue being to be out there because I want to validate, in particular, Dave Rossi, who was interviewed by Jesse Michaels on the American Alchemy show. I felt like that was so brave of him to come out. And when I heard his description, I felt it was pretty close to my description. And I've shared with Cesar already some emails and some messages that have been backdated to show that I was sharing this blue being experience before Dave Rossi came out. I don't want anyone to think that I'm like being a copycat, but I felt it was really important to validate him because a lot of people, they didn't all receive his story very well. And I want to say there's others of us experiencing this blue being with no face and no features. And I'm still trying to pinpoint the blue being. So if anybody has more information, I am open for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to commend you again for your bravery. I want to commend you for just taking a moment to just step back and just saying, you know what, this is okay. You know,
Right.
also considering the fact that it's not just about you. There's other people out there that are probably more likely listening right now, experiencing this and say, "Oh, thank goodness it's not just me." And
Right. Right.
one of the important things that you said above everything else is that it sounds like you're still a woman of the faith, right? So you still
Mm-hmm.
right. So you still go to
Yeah.
church and you're active with it, but you're also living that other esoteric life, and you're
Right.
finding a balance. So I want to ask you, what's it like to balance the two worlds? How are you keeping yourself sane, so to speak?
It's very challenging. When I went through this process, I'm doing all this investigation and I start stumbling upon things, right? And I start questioning everything. And so I went through a little bit of a process of grieving because I started to realize things aren't quite the way I was taught. And after I went through some time of grieving, I started to remember I still want a connection to God. And even though I'm not sure that religion or the church might have it quite right, there's still so many beautiful things. And it was part of the start of my journey, where I was seeking God, the creator, and seeking to connect with him in a loving way, and have love pouring out of my life. I feel like those are still all very valid things for anybody walking a spiritual life. Um, However you want to call it, God, source, divine, universe, whatever. Um, so it's been challenging. There have been times where I felt like I don't fit in the church anymore. Um, but I try to set a lot of that aside and just remember like my foundations, I'm seeking out this creator. I want to connect to this creator. And I feel like this innate power in all of us is from the creator, and it's a source of love. And I think it's for all of us. So that's kind of how I find my balance. Like I try to remember these roots when, when I'm hearing some preaching, I try to find those nuggets that align with where I'm at right now. And, but to be honest, there's lots of things that I'm still trying to figure out. And I just have decided it's okay if I don't have it all figured out. I think what's important is that I just try to stay as aligned as I can, moment to moment, day by day, as I continue to grow and learn and navigate. What does that look for me right now?
Um,
I don't have to have the answers, right? I don't
right.
have to have it all laid out right now.
No.
Um, and also if it's feeding my soul, and I feel like there's aspects of my faith that still feed my soul,
Mm,
So, and being in community. So, but I found lovely community with you guys as well. So
yeah.
it's a beautiful thing. We can find community in lots of places. So
Anywhere.
yeah. So, hopefully that helps somebody, but it's not been easy.
Yeah.
And I definitely still have things that hang out there
I
that make my head spin, but
I want to ask you, Skylar. Um,
mhm.
and I'm trying to. I'm going to ask you a question because I want to make sure that I stay respectful to the fact that you still have um, a faith in a religion, but you're also walking the other line. So let me see how this question comes out for you. I know you said that
Mhm.
you're still seeking, right? You're still seeking.
Mhm. Mhm.
You want to, I guess, meet the creator or just have that connection and stuff. What if I mentioned to you that you are the creator? How do you feel about that comment?
I can totally take that because I feel like we're apart. We're so I don't know that I have it all mapped out, but like, right, we're made in his image, but we're like a part of, we're still
Yeah.
linked into. So I can totally, yes, buy into that.
Okay, so
Yes.
that doesn't throw you off. It's
No.
like there's the ocean and there's the drop,
And we're a drop.
and we're a drop,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
we're a bunch of drops from the same ocean. We're still ocean,
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
Yeah. So
I sort of see it. I sort of see it in both perspectives
okay, good.
that we're apart, but right now
Yeah.
I'm this person
Yes. Yes.
with consciousness with God out
Yeah.
here, but we're still, I feel like that's where I'm headed at the end.
Yeah. Absolutely.
back to
You're
back to
so what
God,
you're
back to
saying
the
is
source.
you're still having your human experience as you should. That's
Yes.
you're here for that, but you're also aware that you are the human experience and that you're also the ocean, which is great.
Yes.
What a great, and
Yes.
this is something that is very hard for people to wrap their minds around, because a lot of people are believing that I'm either this or I'm that. That's it. But to be able to have both awareness, it's a very tough thing to do. And I
Right.
think I haven't met, outside of you, I haven't really met anybody that I've talked to here that is living in both worlds. Some people are just like, hey, I used to be in the religion, now I'm not. But you're walking both sides of the same street. Good for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good for
Yeah.
you.
It has its challenges, like I said, because some things don't always quite line up. But again, I don't have all the answers. I there's probably going to be more questions
Yeah.
tomorrow. Who knows? But
Yeah.
I'm just going to navigate them as I go along.
Yeah.
I just wasn't ready to totally, give that up. And as well, this is a huge part of what of my family is a part of
Yeah.
my faith.
It's your identity.
Like
It's
it,
part of who you
yes,
are. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Totally get that.
And
Totally get that. Totally get that. That's where
it
a lot of
wouldn't
people are.
wouldn't be easy for me if even if I wanted to, it wouldn't be
Yeah.
easy for me to do that and not think about how it would affect my family.
Yeah.
So, excuse me, for me, it's just better that I continue to just figure things out. It doesn't all have to make sense.
Mm.
But I know before the awakening, I know I was connecting to God
Yeah.
because I feel the same things.
Mm.
Does that make
It
sense?
does.
It wasn't like I was just following rules before and now all of a sudden, no, I had a vibrant relationship with the creator before the awakening.
Yeah.
The awakening just took me to the next level
Right.
of awareness,
Yeah.
but I can still have that connection.
Yeah. It's all the same.
It just felt even deeper to me because now I have this awareness.
Yeah.
Like, oh my goodness, so God must be, or creator must be like made out of bioelectricity as well.
Yeah.
because it's in us and we're part of it. And anyways,
It's a beautiful thing, right? It's a beautiful thing. All you've done is, like you said, you've been connected since the beginning. You have just expanded your understanding of what that connection is. That's it.
right,
That's
right,
it. It's like living in a house. Then you realize there's an outside. Then that outside becomes a town, and then you're like, wait a minute, there's a city. Now there's a state. All you're doing is
right,
expanding your awareness of where you are. Where do you fit in this
right,
big puzzle of life? I'm so
right.
proud of you. I see your growth. I definitely see your upgrade from the story that you've said. There, you definitely had
Yeah.
a software upgrade for you to be able to receive everything that you're receiving now and everything that's coming soon in the future here. So
Yes. Thank you.
yeah, it's gonna be amazing. I'm so excited for you. I feel like I have to ask you this one
Thanks.
question here. I feel like people
Sure.
are like thinking and they're like passing it on to me. They're like, ask her this one question. And you mentioned numerous times in your experiences how you've been pulsating, right, or vibrating,
Yes.
right? It just for those that may be experiencing the same thing. can you find another way also, if you haven't done so already, to express what that sensation feels like? So for folks that are listening that might not even be able to put a label on it, maybe you can provide words for them.
Okay. It to me reminds me of the push of a magnet, except it's pushing out of you. And you feel like you don't have skin anymore. You're out to here. And you physically feel a push, like an expanding and a contracting, and an expanding and then a contracting. And it's got this magnetic feeling to it. Um, you might also feel like tingling, heat. I sometimes felt all three of those. I also want to say that during this time, I recognized there was a connection between my heart and my brain, which I later learned was heart brain
Yep.
coherence. And when I would like connect to talk to God, the creator, I would feel this pulsing, this also oscillation
Mm-hmm.
between my brain and my heart before I even felt a magnet push
I love
out of my
that.
body.
Yes.
So I just didn't have words for it. I didn't know what it was, but I later learned, oh, that's what that is. So if you don't know how to do that and you want to learn, you could definitely learn from Heart Math. The Heart Math Institute has something called Heart Math Experience. I believe it's free. You just have to register, and they teach you how do you get into heart brain coherence. And for anyone listening, I would say that would be a really great step forward into your upgrade and awareness, and as well managing your internal state. It's like such a beautiful way to change the emotional state and build resilience in your emotions and in your mind. So, but hopefully that helped. It's like a magnetic push, but it goes out and it comes in, out and in, and it's rhythmic.
Yeah, yeah. And folks, if you resonate with that, or you are currently resonating with that, um let me know in the comments. Let me know if you have questions, if anything that was shared by Skylar today touched you, reached you in some type of fashion. Express, share. If you don't want to make a comment here on in the comments section, join my Discord, the 369 Collective, on the Discord app, and you can also talk to Skylar. Okay, you can meet Skylar. You can ask her, your direct questions. You're not alone in this. You are not alone in this. You have at least one person here that understands you. That's so important. So please remember this. Skylar, I'm going to ask you my final questions that I ask all my guests. And you probably heard them on the episodes, but I'll ask you here. So the first question is, what do you think the ultimate purpose of life is?
To learn how to love.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the ultimate purpose. To learn how to love, to give love, to receive love, to be love.
Mm. What is your definition of God?
Mm. Something greater than us, more powerful than us, filled with love, like this unconditional love for all of creation. And it's connected to everything and it gives life to everything. That's what I think.
Yeah. And in your definition, what is love?
It is love. Well, there's the feeling of love. It's hard to describe what is love. I think it's being able to have compassion and empathy for someone else and putting someone else before yourself. If I think back to those experiences that I was having with people and how I could just shift, it became more about like, it's okay, I can love them even if this doesn't feel okay, what's happening to me. I can love them through this because they don't know what they're doing. So I'm going to love them in their journey. And I'm going to, I don't know, just put them first and be forgiving,
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
It puts you in a different place when you have that kind of love.
Yeah. I appreciate it.
It's a less expectation of self, right?
Yeah.
And it's more about, I'm going to help this other person, or I'm going to forgive this other person.
Yeah.
I think that's love.
I appreciate that. And if you could go back to young Skylar, what would you tell her?
Never stop learning would be one thing that I would tell her. And that two, that you are enough and you are smart enough and you can do it. Because there were lots of times in my younger self that I just didn't think I could do it. And I think I stopped short. I stopped myself from doing things because I didn't believe in myself. But I believe in her now because I know we have limitless possibilities. Anything is possible.
Anything is possible. And Skylar, is there a last message, last words you'd like to share with the audience before we wrap things up?
Maybe just to suggest to everyone to consider looking at building up your bioelectricity. We talk about having good vibes, or excuse me, raising your vibration. I think there's a spiritual and internal aspect of raising your vibration. And I think there's some physical things that you can be doing to raise your vibration. And I can't stress enough that I just feel it's deeply important that humans raise their bioelectricity. I think that you'll notice a huge difference in your life if you focus on an internal emotional raising a vibration, but as well, what can you do to give your body what it needs to charge its battery to its fullest? So I challenge you. How's that? I leave you all with a challenge.
There you go.
Raise your bioelectricity.
Raise it high, high. And folks, to respect Skylar again, her wishes. I won't be leaving any kind of contact information in the description below. But like I said, if you guys want to reach out to her, probably the best way will be to go on the Discord, and you'll find her there. She's very engaging. She shares a lot of great information. So, Skylar,
Absolutely.
yeah, I had a great time speaking with you, sitting here with you, listening to what you're sharing with us. I think you're a beautiful soul. I think
Thank you.
there's so much value in what you've shared today. We don't know who is going to reach, but it's going to reach some people, and it's going to reach them in such a huge,
Absolutely.
impactful way. And that's what gets me really excited. And folks, if you're one of those people that get reached by this conversation, spread it. Pay it forward. Pay it forward.
Definitely.
If you've seen Skylar come out and share her truth, find a platform. If needed, reach out to me. Let's talk. Let's figure something out. But share your truth. The more that we talk and share our experiences, the more we learn from each other. But then also we start to realize we're all going through the same thing. We're all going through the same thing, right?
Right. And we're all on this journey. So yeah, share, because you're going to help somebody else on their journey. And I want to say one last thing too. I mentioned this before the recording, but I want to say it in the recording that I really appreciate you, Cesar, and I appreciate your channel. And I appreciate how you engage with your members and you bring your members along on this journey. You make us feel a part, like we're doing this together. And I love the way that you interact with your guests. And so I was so happy that the first interview I ever did, was with you. It was an awesome experience. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Skylar, I love you for that. I appreciate that. That means the world to me. And who knows? There'll be other opportunities here. So let's see, the sky's the limit. The universe is the limit. I mean, consciousness, everything. There's so many opportunities. We're going to come back around to this in some fashion. All right, folks. Well, as always, don't forget, I have a website. So beyondthefrequency369.com. You guys can find more about the show and about me and things that are going on. If you want to show your love and support the show even deeper, become a member. become a member. This year is going to be fantastic when it comes to being a member of the channel, because at the end of every month, on the fourth Wednesday every month, we are going to be doing members live only streams. And in those conversations, we're going to talk a lot more about things that we can't talk about here on the public, posting, right? So you guys will be able to call in and join, get on camera, get on mic. I don't care if it's 12, 24, 100 of us, but we're all going to be out here conversing. You will see the community. You will see, your like-minded folks, and who knows what comes out of that. It's going to be a beautiful thing, and the energy is going to be high and vibrant, right?
Absolutely. It's a great community.
Yes. And folks, as always, I love you. I see you. I hear you. I am you. Continue to ask questions. Don't be afraid to pull back the current and take a deeper look. Push forward, always reaching beyond the frequency.